Hey there trainers, Alakaham here with some more Pokemon video magic, and today's video is designed with sort of a shout out to one of my friends in mind, a fellow player, Diggers David, and he and I were doing some trades for an event earlier this year, and we decided to trade shiny Kanto Muks, and it turned out that we got lucky trades there, so I was able to build a Kanto Muk for the first time for the Open Ultra League, and I'm going to go ahead and showcase that for y'all in today's video. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope that you will leave a like and perhaps subscribe if you enjoy the content. And with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So I'm leading Greninja, and this is a terrible lead with the Serf Edge, so I'm going to safe swap into the Kanto Muk. My opponent counters with a Scissor. And Scissor is kind of rough because, hey, and we're both shiny and we're both green on this one, so I like that matchup. The challenge here is that the poison jabs from Muk are going to be resisted by the Scissor. So I'm going to go ahead and let this next charge move through. We're very low, but what I wanted to do by not shielding is encourage my opponent not to shield. Yeah, which worked. So I'm able to land the Dark Pulse, and just because Muk is actually bulkier than the Scissor, we were able to pull that one off. And it's a very good thing that I won Switch there, because Venusaur wants nothing to do with Honchkrow, and Greninja really does not want anything to do with the Surf-Etched there. So the Surf-Etched has built up a lot of energy. I'm going to go ahead and shield the potential Brave Bird, and it was Brave Bird. Okay, so they are more or less out of energy, and they are debuffed, so I'm going to go ahead and go for that Frenzy Plant. I'm thinking they might get to another move before I get to the next Frenzy Plant, but fortunately, we are able to reach it. They must have been trying to get to another Brave Bird, and I'm sure they were very close, but fortunately we were able to get to the Frenzy Plant there. So now we've just got the Greninja against the Honchkrow. Greninja and Honchkrow are both very, very glassy, so I am glad that I saved my shield there. You see how much just a simple bubble attack is doing to the health on that Honchkrow. We are absolutely chunking it. So saving the shield was vital there, and fortunately we were able to get to the Surf, which is more than enough to take out the Honchkrow, which again is very, very glassy. But you do not want to tank a move from Honchkrow because it hits like a truck. It is super, super attack weighted. So that's pretty cool too, very spicy to see the Honchkrow there. I was trying to run with some unusual players myself as well. I do think that the Greninja is kind of underutilized, and it's a pretty fun pick. Alright, so we have another kind of rough lead here with the Magnezone, because if we get hit with a Wild Charge, that is just going to wreck us. I was planning to swap into the Venusaur, which would resist the Wild Charge, but I didn't quite get it in time, so I did throw up a shield, and this time they swapped, so I think they were trying to snipe, but they weren't quite able to do that. I did build up some energy, bank it, and now we have swapped out to the big fancy frog himself, Venusaur, and Venusaur is going to be spamming out these Frenzy Plants. Unfortunately, because I had a little lag, the game didn't register when I wanted to switch as quickly as I would have hoped. You probably saw me tapping before the switch actually happened there. So, yeah, the Machamp was way ahead on energy, and it was going to be able to get those Rock Slides through. Muk is very tanky, so I'm going to get one Rock Slide there, and we are able to fully farm down the Machamp, so we'll see what they decide to come in with, if they come back to their lead or bring out a different Pokemon. Whatever it is, it's going to get Thunder Punched right here, because I have enough energy loaded that I can just sort of blind throw one. Okay, that's perfect. So we got the last shield from them. They were shielding up the potential Dark Pulse, and then we came in and sniped with the Greninja, which is perfect. Absolutely perfect, because the Greninja was useless against this Granbull, but Muk is going to have a fantastic time. Those poison jabs are absolutely destroying the Granbull, because fairy types hate those poison type attacks. So we are able to grab the win on that one, even though it was looking kind of dicey. Lost the lead and lost switch, but we were ultimately able to pull it out in the end. Okay, we are going to jump into match number 3. I'm going to be running the same team the whole time. This is a single set. This is not cobbled together. So we come up against a Steelix, and actually this is pretty good. We are going to take neutral damage from the Dragon Tails, and also the Steelix is a bit bulkier than Greninja, but Greninja is hitting for super effective with every move. And I wanted to throw Serf on the first one because I expected that they would not throw the Serf, or they would not shield the Serf. Usually Steelix doesn't shield the first attack. And I was afraid we weren't going to be able to farm down, so I went ahead and threw the Night Slash here. And the reason I went for Night Slash is to try and get the boost, because at that point any move would have KO'd, so I wanted to expend less energy, and I wanted the opportunity to get the boost on my attack. Didn't get the boost, but that's okay. We had enough energy to land a neutral Night Slash on that Venusaur, and now we can come in with Muk, and Muk is going to have a pretty decent time here. Muk resists grass and poison type charge moves. We don't really have to shield things. Normally you would want to go for the Dark Pulse, but in this case we can do even a resisted move like Thunder Punch, because all we have to do is chip some damage against this thing, right? And then we can farm down and come out with a lot of energy for whatever the opponent brings in next. They did decide to use a shield, and then they swapped into a Regirock. And anybody who's been on this channel very much knows that I am a fan. Regirock is very cool. And it can do neutral damage to our Venusaur. But unfortunately for them, Venusaur is fairly bulky, so we can tank at least one of those stone edges. And we're also going to outpace them. And grass-type Pokemon do super effective damage to rock-type Pokemon. So they were in kind of an unfortunate position. Then they see the writing on the wall, and they decide to go ahead and concede the match. So that makes sense. That's a good game to my opponent. My Muk did have a Dark Pulse loaded, so as long as we didn't shield anything on our Venusaur, I think that was keeping us in a fairly safe position up against the opposing Venusaur. We could let our Venusaur go down, if not take the win, and then come in and throw that Dark Pulse from Kanto Muk, and things would be looking good. Alright, we are hopping into match number 4, and we hit a Wall Rain. Wall Rain is pretty common in the meta right now, but it is sort of challenging for this particular team. That's because Venusaur takes super effective damage from the ice moves, even though it deals super effective damage with the grass moves. And then Muk doesn't really want to get threatened by that earthquake. So I'm staying in with Greninja, which is going to resist all of those ice moves. And then I can go ahead and throw neutral Night Slashes. And we get the attack boost, which is great. And the Night Slash is a very efficient move, so we get to it faster and faster as we get through cycles with it. Got a second boost, but not quite able to get to the Serf against the Machamp here. But that's fine. With the Wall Rain out of the way, I think we have cleared up quite a bit of space for my Pokemon in the back to clean things up here. So we're going to go ahead and throw this Frenzy Plant. I did tank a move there, which is fine. My opponent is staying in this very bad matchup, so I'm going to go ahead and shield here, anticipating that they don't really want to see the Venusaur for whatever reason. Yeah, and then so I was about to swap, but my opponent had the same idea that they would swap and try to farm down with charms once they got me low. But unfortunately, I had two poison types in the back, so anybody running a fairy against this team is going to have big problems unless they are running that fairy on the lead. So fortunately, Kanto Muk is able to pull it out again. Thank you again to Diggers David for getting me that lucky, shiny Kanto Muk. It has been really, really fun in Go Battle League. All right, we are at the fifth and final match in the game, and this is an okay lead here. So all of the attacks from Greninja are going to be super effective, but except for Night Slash, which is just neutral. But the reason I'm going for Night Slash is because A, they kind of have to shield anyway, and B, we need our bubbles to do more damage, so getting the attack boost is kind of the thing that helps us potentially win there. They do swap in a Machamp, and we know from previous games that Venusaur can do pretty well against the Machamp here, especially Shadow Machamp, which is particularly glassy. But here they make a nice call. They get all of my shields here. I overfarm just a little bit, and then I go for the Frenzy Plant, which should KO old forearms there. And then they bring in a Gengar. Now, this is trouble because Gengar does neutral damage against Muk, which is not going to be particularly fun. And they are building up a lot of energy against my with my Venusaur by farming down. So my best answer to the Gengar is Greninja. And I thought that I maybe had a Night Slash loaded, but I did not. So yeah, and now this Aggron is just going to go to town. These Smackdowns plus Stone Edges are going to hurt very bad. Yeah, this is not going to be good. I was just hoping that the Shadow aspect would make the Aggron weak enough that I could take it down with a Dark Pulse, but Dark Pulse was not enough, and of course those resisted poison jabs can't farm down, which was the only other win con that I could, potentially farm down and then throw the Thunder Punch. But 4 out of 5 wins in a match is not bad, and I had a lot of fun using that team. I think Greninja's kind of spicy. I think Kanto Muk is a lot of fun. Like I mentioned, I've never used one in Go Battle League before, so that was really nice to be able to use it there. So shout out again to Diggers David for helping me to get that Pokemon, and I hope that you enjoyed the content. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like, and if you're not subscribed, I would love for you to join my little Pokemon Go community here. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, and I hope to see you again in the future. Talk to you next time, trainers.